Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So glad that you are here. This is December 31st, 2025. So I'm recording this in the morning before I will put it out onto the different platforms. And the objective for today is, first of all, to tell you how amazing you are, because we never do that enough. So I would like you to take a minute and think about why 2025 was so great. I hear a lot of things on the news or social media about how 2025 was very difficult. And I know when we look at things geopolitically and just generally the political landscape, yeah, things were probably quite difficult for a lot of people. But I would encourage you not to focus your brain on that. Think about and find like the three key reasons or the three key moments of 2025 that were so special for you. And I did this, I took time over the past few days to think about 2025. And the moments that were the most special for me, I realized, was one when I was spending time with people. I had a lot of people visit from the US. I had my kids here. I had friends who I hadn't seen for a while. And I had friends who I'd actually never even met in person come to see me in southern France. And that was just wonderful. So that human connection was one of the reasons why 2025 was so great for me. The second reason that 2025 was so great for me is that I'm starting a business and it has really taken off. It has been now, I would say, about 2.5 years that I've been all in. And 2025 was a great year. I hit a big milestone. And first of all, I love to work. I love working with clients. I absolutely love the choices that I've made in my business. I would say about 1/3 of my business comes from teaching management essentials. I work with a company in the US. I love working with them. And I would say the other 50% comes from coaching, one-on-one. I love coaching individuals. And I have just seemed to attract perfect clients. This year, I work with both men and women. Surprisingly, a lot more men this year, and I've loved it. My clients have been perfect. And I do about 10 or 15% of my business is probably consulting, different kinds of consulting gigs. And so my job has just been perfect. The things that I've learned, how I've been challenged, where building a business has really pushed the limits of my personal and professional growth. There is nothing that I would change about this year. So also in 2025, so there was the connection, there's the business part, and thirdly, this was our full year living in southern France. And it is just amazing. That was a very big decision for my husband and I to leave Paris. I had lived in Paris, so I've lived in France now 32.5 years. I lived in Paris 31 years. I thought I was going to die there. That is how much I loved living in Paris. I loved everything about it. But life changed. I mean, things change. Life changes. And what we need and want in certain times of our life change. And so we moved here about 18 months ago. And so 2025 was a full year. And it's just been amazing. The weather is incredible, even though it's very, very, very windy some of the time. It can be very hot in the summer, very cold in the winter, but we have light, we have sun, I have a big house. It is just a different life concept. And it has suited us. It has suited me perfectly. I don't need to travel as much for business. There's just space and light, and the pace is different. So looking back, 2025, I'm not saying it was all easy, but I like to focus on what was positive. And so those three things were amazing. And I hope it was for you also. And so I would encourage you to think about what was so amazing. I would also like to encourage you to think about one thing you would like to leave behind. What is one thing that you don't want to bring with you into 2025? And recently I've discovered and maybe you're familiar with her. Her name is Terry Cole. She is a licensed psychotherapist, I think, in the US. She's written a couple books. And so I'm now on her mailing list, and she does this ritual. And part of it is when we decide what we want to leave behind or not bring with us into 2026, she has you write it down and burn it. Yes, you heard me right. Burning what you want to leave behind. Now, I find that extremely symbolic, and I'm going to do it. I'm still deciding on what I want to leave behind, but I think at least, first of all, the question, it's discussions I had with my clients during the month of December. They always found it extremely impactful. And I know there's a couple things that I will leave behind also, so we'll let you know what that is later on. Now, looking forward into 2026. This is also, I find, the most exciting time of the year. I love it, first of all, because it's calm. You have time to think. You have time. We're not rushing from one meeting to the next. And a lot of my clients, it is a moment where there is downtime. And I love thinking about 2026. I personally love setting goals. And that's what I also wish for you, is for you to think about what is most important for you from two angles. One, professionally, and two, personally. So for me, professionally, I'm going to set some goals when it comes to revenue goals, profit goals next year. That's one direction. But also in terms of the number of people I meet, I've joined a couple professional networks here. I'm also going to become involved again in Toastmasters. If you don't know what that is, it is a leadership and public speaking nonprofit organization that I was heavily involved in about 15, 20 years ago in Paris. And I'm going to become actively involved in that in southern France here. And so, and I would, the other thing professionally is just continuing to go in the direction that I have chosen. My business today feels absolutely perfect to me. The variety of people, the topics, everything is just aligned for me. Aligned. And then also personally, I would encourage you to choose one or two personal goals or reflections or an intention. This is also something I encourage all of my clients. We talk about having a personal life. As much as I think work is important, I love work, most of my clients love their jobs, but having a personal life and a life outside of work is also really, really important for just to stimulate your brain differently, to have fun, to discover new things. And I would say 2026 for me is going to be just in the continuity of what I did in 2025. We spent a lot of time in southern France here playing tourist. So I'm going to continue doing that because there is so much to see and do within a very short distance. I always have some health goals also in mind. I'm very conscious about aging, very conscious about my sleep, about my alcohol consumption, about my physical activity. So I'm going to set 1 or 2 goals around that and those things. Not sure yet. I'm going to decide soon. But I would really encourage you to think, and it could be small things. Like if I look at my clients and some of the things that have made the biggest difference for them in their personal life is simply not checking email on the weekends, planning a vacation, going on vacation, turning off Slack while they're on vacation, finding something that gives them joy. I have a couple clients who, for example, now they don't start work on Friday mornings before 10 a.m. And that is a perfect time for them to play their music or go rock climbing. So think about something you'd like to do differently and start small. It doesn't need to be huge. I am 100% against actually New Year's revolutions. New Year's resolutions, I don't think they work. But I think what does work is starting small. And what I would love to leave you with here is that what I wish for you, listener, client, friend, is that 2026 brings you a job and a life that you love. The reason also I changed this podcast to grounded and aligned is alignment, I think, is so important. And that is also why I think I had such a great year, is because I made choices that were aligned with what I need in this season of life, with what is important to me currently. And that alignment feels so good. And I think that when we're aligned with our choices, with our values, with what is important to us at a certain season in life, everything just falls into place. I'm at a really good place right now. Life is amazing. I'm over the top excited about what 2026 is going to bring. And I will tell you, I'll give you maybe two decisions I've already made about, one about business and one about my personal life. So one about business, I'm excited about, I've got a new business coach, and starting with her mid-January, I'm going to be working with her for 6 months. And somebody who I've been following for probably over a year that I've decided to work with. So I'm excited to see about how that is going to shape and contribute to my business growth. And the second thing is, personally, I want to get back into golf. That we have missed playing golf. And I say we, my husband and I. We were huge golfers for very many years before we moved to southern France. And the move and the financial pressure it put on our finances, with me also starting a new business, did not allow us to play golf. We played probably 5 or 6 times this past year, but before we were playing almost every weekend. And we miss it. And as I record this, like I said, it is the 31st. We played this week. And we played with friends who were here visiting us, and it was just so amazing. I was excited. My game was pretty good. Just being outside. I missed it. I really missed it. And so was thrilled to have the opportunity to have played with our friends and my husband. And that's what I'm going to do. In 2026, golf is at the top of my list. And so I'm going to sign up also for a virtual golf, I don't know if you call it a clinic. It's a boot camp. I think, yeah, that's what the golf teacher calls it, is a boot camp. And it is half an hour, twice a week, virtually. The timing is perfect. It's on my lunch hour. And so that's going to be part of 2026. And so I know I'm looking forward to a life that I love, a job and a business that I love, all of it which feels 100% aligned. I'm going into 2026 feeling grounded and aligned. That's what I want for you. Wishing you all of the best for the upcoming year. I would love for you to drop me a note and tell me, what are your objectives? What do you want to accomplish? What's important for you this coming year? And before I sign off, now that I think of it, I'm running a workshop. It is called the Atelier in January, where I'm going to take you through a lot of what we discussed today, but not only, a very specific process when it comes to thinking about 2025 and especially 2026. It is fun, it is eye-opening, and it is free. So I will put that link here. It is on lunchtime, the second Wednesday of the month. So would love to see you there. Wishing you a fantastic year. Thank you for being part of my life, and we'll see you soon.